that's a warning that I always give new clients is don't think that you're going to buy one. People are always like, we only have room for one. And they're like tattoos. You don't just get one.
네, 그래서 여기 지금 이 푸더크래프터의 이 오너 분이신 이분을 함께 모셨는데요. 푸더에 대해서 궁금한 게 제가 좀 많았어가지고 한번 좀 그런 것들을 물어보려고 합니다. Okay, so you are making fooders for right now around 7 or 8 years, right?
Yeah.
So I've heard you made your first fooder for side project. Like,
Yes.
How did it happen?
I wanted to be a brewer. And so I was home brewing, and my homebrew buddy was a professional baseball player, Chris Carpenter. And he and I, we'd brew 3-4 times a week in my backyard.
Whoa, yeah.
And so we decided, hey, you know what? Why don't we buy like 10% of a little brewery, and which we bought 10% of Heavy Riff Brewing Company.
Yeah.
And so I'm a woodworker, so I was like, I'll build their bar, and Chris can do give them a little publicity and learn as much as we could. And as soon as I started meeting brewers, they would say, oh, I've seen some of your woodwork. Can you make a fooder? And I was like, what? And so it's like brewer after brewer after brewer asked me about fooder making, and it kind of evolved from there. And so I built a fooder, and Corey came out and looked at it and bought it. It really took about a year to build the first one due to the fact that we had to dry the wood. That first fooder, the craftsmanship on it is not very good, and I was embarrassed by it at first. I was like, and so like after I got better and better, I was like, Corey, let me give you a new one. I'll take it, And he was like, don't touch it. That's my favorite one, though he wouldn't let me replace it. But really without a side project, it would have been a long, hard start. We would get checks in the mail from people I'd never heard of. Like we'd get like a $5,000 check in the mail, no name, no phone number. It would just be like some Californian brewery, and we were like, so I'd call him, and he'd be like, put me in line. Anyway, this is what I found is like, I thought Corey was like the nicest guy in the whole world, which he is. The next brewer and the next brewer and the next brewer, and I frankly, they were all nicer than any people I'd ever worked for before. They were like thoughtful and friendly and courteous and respectful of my time, even though like I was selling it. I was just like, this is the greatest industry of all time. So my brewing partner, he quit drinking and lost interest, and so I was either going to start the brewery or start fooder building. So I started fooder building instead. And pretty happy that it went that direction, really. And all our clients are like, they buy a fooder to make art. They buy a fooder to make something that's personal, project with passion. And so it's really kind of humbling to see, like, and we now have 400 clients that start making sours, then they'll start making lagers. And then they'll make Baltic porters. Pretty soon they're like more and more and more fooders. Like that's a warning that I always give new clients is don't think that you're going to buy one. People are always like, we only have room for one. And they're like tattoos. They last forever. And you don't just get one.
Right.
You buy one, and then the next year you get another one, another one. So don't buy the first one.
In Korea, they don't even know what actually barrel is, and fooder is really new to lots of Korean beer customers. Can you explain what actually fooder is?
The number one difference is size. Most of our fooders are in that 10 and 50 times bigger than a barrel. But then the real difference is our tanks are a lot thicker, and our tanks will hold a vacuum. So air is the enemy. Air makes vinegar, air makes acetic acid, and that's really what our clients want. They want large volume, but they want no air at all.
And that's possible with woods?
Yeah, these ones that we're making right now will hold a vacuum for a week.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Once it's hydrated and the wood's proper, it should be able to hold a vacuum. And that's one of the ways we test it. We put steam in it, and then as it's cooling down, we shut it, and the steam cools and it creates a vacuum. And then sometimes the guys will come over and they'll put a fitting in and they'll drill through there, and right when they drill through, it's like, they'll suck air in there. So it was a great way for us to test to see if there's any tiny leaks. That's the number one goal, is to make a large volume, no air, American white oak, Missouri white oak actually. I think the main thing is that this is going way back. If we go way back to, let's say, 2,000 years ago, yeast develops, and the DNA from yeast developed at cellar temperatures,
Yes.
like at cave temperatures, in oak. And that means generation after generation,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
DNA,
yeah.
the DNA of yeast
Yeast.
wants to be at about 52 degrees Fahrenheit in oak.
That's the perfect environment for the yeast.
Yes. So when our clients make a lager in there, the lager is soft and round, and it's old school. It's like that's the way it was done. Lagers and the IPAs both come out rounder and cleaner.
Oh, because I've never had any oak aged lager yet. so
Oh, really?
it-
Yeah, oh, you're gonna love it.
Oh,
You're
really?
gonna love it. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
You can open it up.
Really? Can I?
It's a food or lager.
Yeah. Try it.
Can I?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Wow, it's my first food aged lager.
And who made this one?
Precarious Beer Project.
Precarious in Virginia.
Oh, Virginia. Wow, never heard of it, but I love the label. 그래서 오크 에이징 라거인데요. 한번 먹어보겠습니다. I never expected this kind of taste.
Yeah.
I expected it to be more,
Sour
maybe sour or more oaky.
or funky.
Yeah,
So
it's really clean. It's
Yes.
like just normal lager.
yeah, you'll find that oak, when steamed, is going to impart very little bourbon flavor. You'll get this really little vanilla, and that little vanilla will last. But that little vanilla flavor is more because the yeast is happy than anything, and you get this like this little softness. This
Yeah, it's really soft.
and that softness, I think, is now this could be totally wrong. Like some scientist is going to go, Matt doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine. I probably don't. I probably don't know what I'm talking about. But my theory is, you put a tiger in the jungle and he's happy, and you put yeast
Yeah, in food.
in a fooder and,
And
he's
he's
happy.
Oh,
I think that's the thing that when I started Food Crafters, I had no idea that I was going to be supporting artists. I probably have 50 photographs of clients hugging fooders, and it's very humbling and very very exciting.
what I was most curious about is that you have lots of fooders with different shape, like one with
Yeah.
horizontal, long one, thin
Yeah.
one, fat one.
Yeah.
Like what does it change?
So the short answer is really what fits in your brewery. I haven't been able to discern any difference. If we made them, say, 40 feet tall, then you have the pressure. It creates the head pressure. But we don't make anything big enough to make head pressure anyway. So that said, I really don't think there's any difference in shape or size. Most of it is what fits in your brewery, how it looks, and the horizontals are cool to look at. Ovals are fun. The standard ones are the easiest to clean. Horizontals, the yeast drops out faster. Conical is good to get all fruit out the bottom. But there again, it's just as easy to get it out of almost as easy to get it out of a regular one. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'd get a lot of phone calls. People say, "Do you know what you're doing?" Like at the very beginning. And so I built a 30-barrel standard, an oval, and an egg-shaped one. And I lined them up and took a photo of it and had an advertisement in Beer Magazine. And after people saw that, they were like, "Oh, well, if he can make an oval and an egg, he knows what he's doing." So that's the reason why I did the different shapes, so that people would think I wasn't.
You can do everything.
Yeah. You've seen the price list on our tanks; they're all cheaper than even Chinese stainless tanks of the same size. So we don't care very much about the wine industry. We care about brewers. So brewers care about price. Wine people don't care about price. They'd rather
really?
spend more money, it's fine with them. But brewers are like, they
They're
watch
usually
their nickels.
short of money, right?
Yeah, and so we try to make ours focus the company to whatever brewers want. The real long-term focus is making our tanks so that no air gets in and people can make clean beers. Because if they can make clean beers, then our business will grow. Like as closing, I would say that a cleaning of a fooder, even if it gets bacteria in there like Brett or whatever,
Yeah.
and then they realize they want to clean it by steaming that thing, that they can actually get it back to making
really?
clean. Now that's only with American oak. With French oak, it's a little too porous.
Oh, it's different.
It's very different. This stuff's closer to stainless. So really, we're going to try to spread the word about how to clean, how to steam.
Okay, so thank you very much for
Well,
the
thank you.
interview.
Appreciate
and
it.
I hope to see you again.
Okay,
Thank
thanks
you very
a lot.
much.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you very much.